It was Smackdown! It was the 26th of September of the year 2025! This, your amplified review! And before we get to this show in totality, my opening monologue is about a subject that cannot ever happen in professional wrestling, and we are seeing it all too often under Hunter Hearst Helmsley Paul Levesque McMahon. A botch that is unacceptable. A botch that exposes the business far more than any show like Unreal. The botch in the main event of SmackDown. That simply can never happen. Yet we are seeing it at least once a month for the past 3 years. Do the math! Hunter Hearst Helmsley's entire reign. Tiffany Stratton has the cover on Nia Jax. Nia Jax is taking a nap. As if she got hit with a tranquilizer, Nia Jax is looking up at the lights till next Friday. There's just one problem. The referee refuses to count 3. 1, 2. Nia is out. Again, tranquilized. She's done. But the referee hooks her third count and says 2! 2! It was 2! Nia Jax all of a sudden comes to life. You see her start talking to referee, I believe it was referee Asia Smith, which is actually a really good referee. Underneath Jessica Carr, one of my favorites. And she's only doing what she is told by Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Nia Jax starts talking to the ref out of nowhere. She's all of a sudden awoke. And she's talking to the ref. What? Oh, was that my bad? And the referee's like, shit, you just made us all look bad. And then Nia Jax raises her arm, gets her shoulder up 10 seconds after the 3 count has already been nullified. At that point, don't even kick out, Nia. It's over. A mega botch has just occurred at the tail end of the main event of the show. You can't get that back. Even if fans thought it was a great match, that's what you're going to remember. It taints it. Nia Jax. And let me just run this down, right? For newer fans, maybe you're thinking, well, whose fault was it, BC? Everybody's to blame. But Nia Jax, feels like we've been saying this for over 10 years. Nia Jax was the nucleus of the issue. Nia Jax simply forgot to kick out. Now, you could say Jade Cargill getting busted open, I believe, above her left eye. She was kind of busted up pretty damn good. Wouldn't be shocked if stitches were needed. So you could say maybe that threw off the finish. Doesn't matter. You have to have the finish, whether it's called on the fly, a complete audible. You have to know which move is going to do it. Clearly, it's going to be the prettiest moonsault ever from Tiffany. It's not going to be a low-level missile dropkick. Nia just didn't kick out. Maybe in her dome piece, she thought she had already gotten hit with the moonsault. But that was the next move. So Nia was supposed to kick out. So Nia's the first part of this whole issue. And then the referee, doing what she's told, we'll get to that in a second, hooks her count. So it makes a bad issue even worse. Because fans would never know that Nia was supposed to kick out if the referee just hit 3, which is clearly what is happening. Tiffany pinned Nia. There's only one thing that can expose pro wrestling like nothing else in the world. Not even the show Unreal. Not even showing how the matches are called and the producers call most of it backstage in Gorilla. Not Helmsley telling you who's getting the rocket, who's winning matches, who's losing matches. Nothing can expose pro wrestling like the referee completely botching the calls, especially a 3 count. The referee literally holding up on a count when a wrestler is clearly pinned, not even didn't get their full shoulder up, isn't even moving. They're completely out. And the referee just stops their count. Nothing tells the audience or reminds the audience like a brick to the face. Oh yeah, just wanted to remind you how fake it all is. And one of our actors missed a beat. One of our actors missed their spots. So don't worry, our other actor is going to try to get us back on track. They just won't count to 3. If you saw Smackdown, maybe you didn't. A lot of you guys just listen to BC's review and say, thank you for saving me 2 hours, BC. You're welcome, by the way. But if you didn't see the show and you're thinking, well, BC, it's just a botch. Is it really something we got to spend the opening monologue on? Absolutely, because if you didn't catch the show, if you didn't catch this spot, if you didn't catch this botch, believe me when I tell you, it's as bad as I am making it out to be, because that's how it happened. Nia was down. The ref hooked her count because Nia was supposed to kick out, and then after Nia realized it, she comes to life, starts talking to the ref. Ref's got an oh shit, we all just screwed up look on her face. Nia then kicks out 10 seconds later. And then we go into a prettiest moonsault ever where Nia is once again knocked out. Now here's the whole point in all this. You see, this is where it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley who's to blame more than anybody. Because when Vincent Kennedy McMahon was in charge, there was a rule. There was a rule where if the wrestler misses their spot to kick out, if the wrestler misses their cue and does not kick out, the referee has to hit 3. Because Vince McMahon said you cannot risk the believability in the match and product. You can't risk it. Because he knew. If the referee's just holding his count, wrestlers will miss their spot left and right, but the audience will never know. The audience will only know and be reminded how fake all of this is if the referee blows it. So Vince had a rule. You count everybody. If they're not going to kick out, that's on them. If they think they can take it to the edge like Shawn Michaels was so good at it, right? 2 9/10. So close, but he kick out. Some wrestlers could do that. Nowadays, for the pop, everybody's doing it because the referee is in on it, right? Don't count, right? This is going to be the planned finish no matter what. So Hunter Hearst Helmsley changed the rule when he took charge. This is a real thing. Hunter Hearst Helmsley's rule is that the referee does not count 3 until the very end planned finish. The problem with that is all the botches you are now seeing in World Wrestling Entertainment. The problem with that is now at least once a month. And they don't even have to be huge like at that PLE several months ago with Damian Priest. On a PLE and he's looking up, he's taking a nap. They don't even have to be huge. They could be just big. Like Tiffany Stratton on a Smackdown covering Nia. But that was a title match, so that's still huge. I don't care if it's a house show. If the wrestler is not kicking out, the referee should count to 3. But Hunter Hearst Helmsley's new rule is you do not count at all until the planned finish. And now, left and right, we are seeing these type of botches. Never. I have witnessed decades of professional wrestling. I cannot tell you I've seen a string of this many referee botches that are absolutely stemming from the wrestler forgetting to kick out. But even before that, the rule that was implemented by Hunter Hearst Helmsley to make the referee look like an idiot. And then the smart fan obviously knows, oh, it was the wrestler that was the original idiot. Then the referee looked like a bigger moron. And then you trace it right back to Hunter Hearst Helmsley for implementing the biggest, stupidest decision of his short tenure. And hopefully it is only short. And hopefully this dude is removed from his position, because Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon, sucks at everything he does in WWE. He was a talent. He was a damn good heel. Only because he was put in the right decisions, because he put his schnoz up Vince McMahon's ass to make sure he was in those spots. And if you doubt that, remember what I always tell you. Go back to Test. When Test was in the storyline with Stephanie, and Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, told Vince McMahon, take him out, put me in. What are you talking about? That's a massive storyline that Test is about to get. Test is going to get the ultimate push. He's going to be in a big story with Stephanie. He's already in the storyline with Stephanie, and you're telling me to take him out to put you in this massive storyline? And Helmsley was like, yeah, Test isn't up your ass. Test isn't kissing your ass. I am. And Vince is like, all right. Took Test out, put Helmsley in. We all know how that storyline went off. And once Helmsley's in, he puts the moves on the boss's daughter, and it works. He was with China at the time. He didn't care. He's like, sorry, I got the boss's daughter. You're out. Das Boot to China. Now that you got the boss's daughter, you're going to be in every top spot no matter what. I think he would have been a damn good heel no matter what. But in case you forgot or just didn't know, a lot of the spots he was in was because he kissed the right ass or married the right ass. That's truth. Most of us lived through it. We know. There's no fabricated BS. And then when Vince is gone, who do you think's taking over the helms? Shane didn't want it. Stephanie wanted parts of it. Paul Levesque McMahon always wanted to be Vince McMahon. Now he's in that spot. He just doesn't want to do Vince McMahon shit. Doesn't want to put in that work in the office. Wants to play celebrity. We talk about it all the time on this channel. It's no use for this SmackDown review to rehash it all again, at least not in this upload. We'll stick to the topic at hand, which is, this is one of just many Hunter Hearst Helmsley botches with a suit and tie. He has no creative juices flowing, so the Chief of Content, that title should be removed from him. Chief of Content and Chief of Creative. He is not creative. He doesn't know what he's doing. The term long-term storytelling or long-term booking makes him curl up in a ball and hide in the corner. Makes him cringe. Gives him a panic attack. Head of Talent Relations. What talent should this guy be in charge of? You saw how he operated as a pro wrestler and stabbing everybody in the back and screwing everybody over. Now imagine that as your boss. Pretty wild, right? But one of the biggest decisions he made that is absolutely unacceptable is changing Vince McMahon's referee rule. You let them count. If the wrestler doesn't answer, nobody knows the difference. Especially if she's getting pinned anyway in the very next move. The rule has to change! As a pro wrestling fan for decades, I am done. I'm tired. I am exhausted of seeing referees pull their count when the talent is done. They're knocked out. They're looking up at the lights. They're taking a nap. And the referee's just like, nope, I just decided not to count. I just said, oopsies. I said, JK, psych. I just didn't count. I don't know why. I just didn't count. And I like referee Asia Smith, I do, but look at her look on her. That she looks so dumb. Nia looks like a complete jackass. Referee Asia Smith doesn't even try to hide it, because what can you do at that point? I don't even blame her. Hunter S. Helmsley put you in a horrible position, and Nia Jax made sure that it was even worse. So what can the referee even do but look like a dumbass? What could she have done? What could she have done? So she just has this dumb look on her face as she's just looking at Nia. You can't even explain. Looking at Tiffany. Tiffany's thinking, what's happening? Tiffany doesn't even know what's going on. And you won't see it. You'll see it again. And you'll see it again in the future. And you'll see it again and again. Why? Because Paul Levesque McMahon's in charge. And he changed Vince's rule. I am seeing it at least once a month, it seems. I don't even think that's an exaggeration. I am seeing it all the time, where the referee is botching their counts because the wrestlers aren't kicking out when they're supposed to. Nothing exposes the business like that, I assure you. Hunter S. Helmsley is going out of his way to expose the business, and maybe this is just another nail in that coffin. Maybe that's exactly what he's trying to do in it. He doesn't care. So maybe he truly doesn't even care about this. But I can't tell you how many countless fans are like, oh, I was enjoying the main event until that botch, man, it just took us out of it. Or, wow, that was a bad botch. Or, whoa, I feel bad for everybody involved. I mean, it was that bad. Diehard, tried and true WWE fanatics that constantly blow smoke up Hunter's ass and make him feel like he's the best thing in pro wrestling, and Hunter S. Helmsley saved pro wrestling. Those fans were even like, damn, that was bad. Change the rule. Change the rule back, man. Take your balls out of Stephanie's purse for 2 minutes. Reattach them. Do what you gotta do to make the decision official. Then you can detach, put your balls back in Stephanie's purse, or she just takes them back herself. But for 2 minutes, get your balls back. Change the rule. You can't keep doing this. If this was once in a blue moon, it is what it is, man. These wrestlers don't know what they're doing anymore because there's so many spots and so much to remember. You got to remember, growing up, man, I don't care if it's the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression, the Golden Era. I don't care what era. You didn't have this many triple threats, this many fatal four-ways, this many tournaments where you have 3 or 4 matches, sometimes in a night, over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, or battle royals, non-stop. These wrestlers have to remember all of this, and they're just not remembering when to kick out too often. And the referee is just holding their hand up like, I want to count 3, but I'm not going to. And the fans are like, what are you doing, dude? She's knocked out, or he's knocked out. But that's not what we planned, guys. It's not part of the show. So we fucked up. So give us a second. We'll get back on track. The problem is you're live. You got thousands of people in the arena and over 1 million. I mean, that's dwindling down. But as for now, they're just over 1 million. They're averaging 1.3. So you got 1 million people watching at home. Yeah. I'm done. So yeah, this review for this SmackDown, the opening monologue, was absolutely, I knew from the moment I saw that botch, I said, I'm done. This is being talked about in this review to great extent. I am done. I don't know any way I can tell you this other than I'm done. Can you tell I'm done? It's exhausting. Everybody looks like an idiot because of the biggest idiot at the top, Paul Levesque McMahon. TKO, Silver Lake, they need to remove this dude from all positions. You can give him a raise and make him a GM on the show because he just wants to play superstar anyway. That's all he wants to do. And he's only in this for another couple of years when they sell this thing to Saudi and he makes a boatload more of cash. But they won't do that. TKO, Silver Lake, none of them will do that. Why? Because they're not knowledgeable in pro wrestling. They're just, quote, business people. So they know that when they all took over, it was Hunter Hearst Helmsley that was attached to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. See, they didn't know. They thought, oh, he was just a big associate to Vince. He's Vince's right-hand man. They didn't know Hunter Hearst Helmsley was just kissing that ass nonstop. Helmsley doesn't know shit. He's not creative. He's not a business person. He's a schmuck. He's the king of dumbasses. And that's it. But they just saw him always with Vince. Attached to the hips. They're like, all right, we lost Vince, so as long as we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley, I'm blowing out mics. Yeah, that's when you know we're amplified. We're blowing out microphones. TKO's thinking okay, we got rid of Vince. As long as we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley running the day-to-day creative and talent, we can just keep doing our business shit. Adding more advertisers, more commercials, more business with Saudi. Helmsley will be involved in every step of that because he's going to be our spokesperson. Because that's all he is, right? He's a spokesperson. He does all the commercials, all the media scrums, all the press conferences. He's involved in all the business shit. Isn't that what the president is supposed to be doing? COOs? Why is the chief of creative and content doing Saudi Arabia press conferences like the head guy? Why is he doing all the pressers? Why is he doing all the media as the focal point? Does anybody stop and ask why would could you imagine when Vince Russo was the head of creative or the head writer? Could you imagine if he was doing all the press conferences and the media scrums and the commercials and the spokesperson? It would never happen. Is anybody stopping and thinking, wow, maybe the reason we have such a bad product these days in WWE is because the guy in charge of all of it is not actually doing his job. I feel like a broken record in every single upload we are speaking on this, but every single upload we have to once again speak on this. Because these decisions are not so little. Something as little to some is massive to the masses. A referee botch to that magnitude? That doesn't just destroy a main event, which it did. That destroyed the whole show. Right at the tail end of the show, a botch like that to remind you how fake and scripted it all is. As if we didn't already know. But just for the sake of the show, can you at least allow your audience for 1, 2, or 3 hours to suspend that reality? And if we're supposed to be watching a supposed competition where these 2 or 3 or these days, these 10 individuals are trying to find out who the winner is, can we at least not have the referee be the one to decide it? Or the referee be the focal point? The referee just doesn't count. Telling your audience, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. I am livid with these type of botches. I am livid. It is so unacceptable. I can't even... this probably went over 20 minutes, this opening monologue, and I still don't feel like I'm conveying these words appropriately. I'm livid! That even has the chance of happening. All the blame is on Hunter Hearst Helmsley, no question. But Nia Jax once again botching? Yeah. Here we go again. When she first came back, I was giving her rave reviews, remember? I said, Nia, man, she came back with a new... It seems like a new focus, a new perspective on pro wrestling, more specifically WWE. It's like she understood a lot of her wrongs and what was holding her back, which was nothing more than herself. And she came back. She was actually having some decent matches. She didn't mind selling, which is something she hated back in the day. I always remember when her and Charlotte had that matchup, and I was previewing it for the night. So before that match even took the airwaves, I told you guys, grab your popcorn. This is going to be fun because Charlie Flair hates selling. Nia Jax hates selling. They're both going to go in there and they're just going to start hauling off. What happened, guys, that night? They ended up getting into a real fight in the ring. Because they hated selling. Remember when Becky got her nose broke? Do you know why that was? It was because Nia didn't want everybody hauling off on her. It's just wrestling punches. Nobody's actually hitting her. She just felt like she was swarmed. Well, that's what was supposed to happen. You're the big girl in the match. So Becky and others are going to try to triple and quadruple team you. So she didn't like to be in that spot in that moment. She turned around and hauled off on Becky, broke her nose. And I can give you many more instances, but she came back and she was, I thought, better. In a better state of mind. She was just more focused, having decent matches. But I started to notice something way before that botch. But in that match, I started to see the old Nia kind of creep back. Just slipping back into what seemed like that half-ass Nia again. Half-assing everything, not putting her all into it. I started to see, and then sure enough, the mega botch at the end. I'm giving Helmsley all the blame, but Nia Jax, man, this is the time to take some inventory, self-inventory, and switch it up quick. Don't go back to that old Nia. And for referee Asia Smith, this is her time to really have a long talk with the rest of the referees. You go to Helmsley and you go, dude, you're putting us in a really bad spot, man. You're making us look like absolute idiots for no reason. Just let us count. Let us count, especially if the next move, Nia was supposed to be pinned anyway. This was so bad. One of the worst botches I've ever seen. I have witnessed decades of pro wrestling across 25 different promotions, big promotions. Not to mention 195 bingo halls. I have never seen a botch to that magnitude. And I've seen these types of botches, unfortunately, too often these days. That unacceptable. That better change. I'm going to get a swig of coffee. We're going to get into Smackdown 9/26/25. Your amplified review kicks off with Cody and Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring, and we end the show with a triple threat Jade, Nia, and Tiffany for the championship. That's all coming up right now. Smackdown Amplified. Paul Heyman starts this show, Smackdown 9/26/25. It wasn't long before Cody Rhodes would come to the ring. Cody asks Paul Heyman, am I talking to the Oracle, the Wise Man, or the Advocate? I thought that was a good line. Because Paul Heyman does have his hands in many cookie jars right now, right? He's the leader of the Vision as the Oracle. He re-sparked this relationship with Brock Lesnar. So is he once again the Advocate? With Roman Reigns gone, when he comes back, is there something there? Is he going to be the Wise Man? And Cody's going to have to find that out. So this is a pretty good question, right? Am I talking to the Oracle, the Wise Man, or the Advocate? Heyman responds brilliantly. You're talking to the GOAT. I just really thought that was well done. The Brawns then enter the ring. Cody questions Heyman's loyalty and guarantees that it's not with Breakker and Reed. Of course, now the Brawns are not happy, so Cody says, looks like you boys want to fight. Probably not a good idea for me, but screw it. I like that with Cody, man. Take off the suit jacket. Take off the cufflinks. You shouldn't be out there with loafers anyway, but you know what? Let's go! Cody Rhodes starts rocking. How the brawl is on. Randall Orton then comes out to even the numbers. Bronson Reed eats an RKO, and Cody Rhodes clotheslines Braun Breakker over the top rope, onto the outside, onto his ass. And the heels retreat as Heyman is in shock at how easy his muscle just got handled. Listen, guys, this was actually well done. Line delivery, believability, spots, everyone pretty much nailed it. So how about that, huh? Wait a second, was BC just positive? You gotta be more positive, BC. More positive. I'm positive the shows suck. I'd love more material, more matches and segments and promos. Character development. I would love all of that to be more positive so I can be such, so I can follow suit. But if something sucks all the time, I can't be positive about it. But for this segment was actually well done. Now, let's not get carried away, right, on the segment 2. Because you still got an hour and 40 some odd minutes, hour 45. You're going to have a lot of commercials, a lot of filler, but there's going to be segments that have to hold their own. Just because you had a pretty decent segment 1 doesn't mean you pack it up and you move to the next town. And before we move to segment 2, I do have to just say about the Braun Brawns, you got to be careful with this, right? They just got their asses whooped again. I just mentioned how Paul Heyman's look on his face was like, damn, Bronson and Breakker, the two dudes I just put my whole name behind. It just seems like they're getting their asses whooped all the time. It's actually not the case, though. Many shows end with Breakker and Bronson destroying some faces. So you really can't win, and that's because it's not being done properly. That's what I am talking about. Too many shows end with the Braun Brawns standing over a face that was just been beat up. And the Braun Brawns look diabolical and badass, and the show goes off the air. With, of course, Paul Levesque McMahon's name in the credits, right? I produced this junk. Too many shows, to the point where fans are like, damn, I'm tired of seeing Braun and Braun beat everybody up to end every show. But then how many segments do you see of the Braun Brawns getting their asses whooped? So many. So you're thinking, well, BC, damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? They have people, they're beating up people, but then they're getting whooped. So why is nobody caring about any of it? It's because it's not being done properly. You're not building these wrestlers up properly. There's no rhythm. There's no continuity or consistency with the character development of Braun Breakker and Bronson Reed. 1 week they're badass. One show they're diabolical and whooping that ass. Another show they look weak AF, getting their asses whooped. And then we just recycle that type of booking. So that here we stand at the end of September of 2025, and we don't know what Bronson Reed and Braun Breakker are. Some days we're saying they're the future of the business. Other days we're like, damn, they look like jobbers. I don't care if it seems like we're piling it on or not. That goes on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You're the chief of creative and content, the head of talent relations. You're all of that. So what are you doing with Breakker and Bronson? Then again, we can ask, what is he doing with the whole roster, right? It seems like nobody's being booked correctly. I haven't even began to touch on the subject of AJ Styles and John Cena. That'll probably be in a separate upload. That was going to be my opening monologue for this review. And then that mega botch happened. And that became the opening monologue. But I'll be talking about AJ Styles. And something tells me I'm going to be talking about the whole Crown Jewel card. And how Helmsley is botching that left and right. But segment was done well. What does this do for the Braun Brawns? Absolutely nothing, man. Eating RKOs and clotheslines and then running away. Now, the first matchup of the night, that was going to be the Street Profits defeating Miz and Mello. Their team is called Mello Don't Miz. Yeah, it's as bad as their team name. Post-match, again, Profits win. I don't know who would care about this, but the Profits win. There was some teasing of distension between Mello and... Does anybody care? To PC, they're not even a team. Who cares if there's dissension? Wow, do we get to see a Miz vs. Mello match in the future? That'd be amazing, said no wrestling fan ever. Post-match, the Wyatts stand on top of the commentary table. Oh, whoa, man, the Wyatts are on the commentary. Dangerous, spooky, badass. They're standing on the commentary table, guys. Helmsley has zero vision for the Wyatts. Another scenario where he throws titles on talent and hopes everyone accepts it. See, they have titles now, so clearly they're being booked correctly. That's what he wants you to believe. What are you talking about? We put titles on them. They're okay now. We just talked about what are you doing with the Braun? What are you doing with the Wyatts? What are you doing with Mello? What are you doing with Miz? What are you doing with the Street Profits? What did that W do for the Street Profits? They don't know what they're doing with the tag division. They don't know what they're doing with Motor City or DIY or any of them. Pretty Deadly, half of them are not even showing up to catering anymore. They're just being told, just stay home. We can guarantee you won't be needed. So you're not going to be taking all the triple layered moose cake on us. And then, oh, you ready for this? Then we watch a multi-minute clip of the Stephanie McMahon podcast with guest Tyrese Halliburton. Yeah, the basketball guy, nothing to do with WWE. I cannot be the only one exhausted with seeing Tyrese Halliburton on WWE TV. And I'm not just saying that as a New York Knicks fan, by the way, but as someone who wishes WWE would have more respect for themselves. Because whenever an athlete or a celebrity shows any interest in WWE, that company clings to their balls. Bad Bunny and so many others, man. When people like that tell you they like WWE or they're a little bit of a fan or they follow the product, Hunter Hearst Helmsley loves celebrities and athletes. He wants to feel like he's part of them. Look what he does for Pat McAfee. Look what he does for Pat McAfee, man. Do you see how he simped for him during Pat McAfee's entrance at the Palooza of Wrestling? And Helmsley actually left Gorilla to run up to Pat McAfee to give him a big hug. Doesn't even do that for his own talent. Pat McAfee is all of a sudden your good buddy? Oh, that's right, because Pat McAfee's a big star on ESPN and he transcends outside of the wrestling bubble. That's why he shows up to, you see, Hunter Hearst Helmsley at Pacer games. Because Tyrese Halliburton's his big buddy now. That's his buddy. You didn't know that? Yeah, they're big buddies because he's an athlete outside of WWE. Big time basketball player. So there's H at the game. Oh, Bad Buddy. He's a rapper. He's a musician. He's outside the bubble. So Bad Buddy's my good buddy, man. I run up, I give him hugs. I tell Bad Buddy he can come to WWE and do whatever you want, man. Because you're Bad Bunny. I can't tell you how many times I have seen or heard of Tyrese Halliburton on WWE television this year. Nonstop, and he hasn't done anything. Get ready for another basketball season. But he showed some interest in liking WWE, just following some of it. And Helmsley heard about it, and just like Helmsley always does, he clung to the balls of Tyrese Halliburton. Now he's everywhere, showing up to all the shows whenever he's front row. We'll roll out the red carpet. Hey, you want to do Stephanie's podcast? He's not Michael Jordan. He's not Larry Bird. He's not even LeBron James. So basically, enough! Enough! Tyrese Halliburton! Move on. Julia and Kiana James defeat Meechin and B-Fab. Julia with the pin. There's nothing of note here. Hey, let's rush Julia to the main roster. Okay, wow, you must have something really big planned, huh, H? No? Oh, then why do you want to... Because... Julia and Kiana James defeat Meechin and B-Fab. No, it doesn't do anything. You'll probably see the same four doing something stupid next Friday. And the Friday after that. And the Friday after that. Like we're supposed to give a shit. Hey, they're wrestling each other nonstop. Wow, this is such a fun storyline. Next week, Kiana James versus B-Fab one-on-one. Whoa! Meechin and Julia one-on-one. Whoa! In 3 weeks, It's the tag team rematch. Julia and Kiana versus Meechin and B-Fab. This isn't a storyline. This isn't fun. This is just recycling matches. Speaking of the ladies, we'll stick with them. Sol Aruka. Actually, what do they call them? Sol and Zarya. So what do they call it? Zol Aruka? From NXT. They were backstage and they were confronting the tag title holders, Charlie Flair and Alexa Bliss. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this. But I will say this about Charlie. She had a baseball cap on, right? The big robe isn't on it. You know, when they dumb down Charlie a little, and I mean that in the best of ways, trust me, with all the glitz and the glamour and the big robes and playing on the Flair name and the pyro. I usually don't say this because in pro wrestling, you want the individual to turn up their personality and charisma, right? Like Steve Williams always said, when I turned it up to 10, I became Steve Austin. Right? Stone Cold Steve Austin is just me turned up to 10. So you always want people to amplify because we need characters these days. We're lacking it. We don't have characters. We don't have personalities. We don't have charisma. So it's not often I say, hey man, sometimes somebody has to turn it down to get further. I think we need more Ashley Flair and less Charlotte Flair. Keep calling her Charlotte, obviously. That's what we know her as. But put a baseball cap on her. Let her be a little bit more normal, relax. The I'm better than everybody thing, just relax it a little bit. So I know it's simple, right? Obviously, oh man, just a baseball cap did it? Yes, actually. For Charlotte Flair? It's like I can almost come to believe that her and Alexa would just be hanging out backstage. And it's always just good to see Sol Ruka. I'm a huge supporter of Sol Ruka. She's amazing. This is somebody who wasn't even a fan of pro wrestling, I believe, before she entered the world. The wild world of pro wrestling, man. Learned it so quick. Is so unique. Sol Ruka is going to be a massive star if she sticks with this. One of the most incredible moves I've ever seen in pro wrestling is that soul snatcher she does. Which is like a fucking top rope or middle of the rope, inadverted, inside-out stunner. I don't know how to describe it. It's wild. If you've never seen Sol Ruka, you gotta catch a Sol Ruka match. Zarya, I have no idea. That's just a weird combination. I take her or leave it. I could leave Zarya. I just nothing special. But Sol Ruka, man. Her and Charlie Flair in the future, that could be a lot of fun. Jacob Fatu super kicks Drew McIntyre, then hits Mac with his own medical boot. That was a real segment. I don't know if I need to break that into detail. Mac was pissed off because he feels he got screwed at the Palooza. The referee screwed him by backing him off, not letting him punt Cody in the dome piece, which would have sent Cody's dome piece through the LED board of the commentary table. So Nick Aldis was out there, and Aldis is like, quit whining and this and that, and unless you have anything else to say, this conversation is done. Nick Aldis walks away. Drew demands he comes back, but it's Jacob Fatu that enters the ring. Fatu tells him to quit moaning and crying every time you lose a match. And Drew's sitting there in a boot because Cody did move at the Palooza, and Drew just put his own foot through the commentary table. So he's selling the injury. He's got a medical boot on. So Jacob Fatu's talking a big game, pisses off Drew. Drew goes to, or no, he does, glass cow kiss, headbutt. But that turns on Jacob Fatu. That gets him amplified. So he just super kicks Drew. And then when Drew gets up, he took the boot off of Drew. So when Drew gets up, he hits him with his own medical boot. And Drew is down and out looking up at the lights. All right, they wanted to do this months ago, if you guys remember, Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. But that was when I think Jacob was still a heel under the wings of and guidance of Solo, so that really wouldn't have worked. Jacob Fatu was still under Solo, so now that Jacob Fatu is more face, I like this. I don't think Jacob Fatu can lose this. The problem is Drew McIntyre cannot continue to lose big matches either. So if you're going to book this, you better have a plan. The problem with that is we know Hunter Hearst Helmsley does not. So I see when it's all said and done, I see Drew looking up at the lights yet again. If there's ever a time to start feeling bad about Drew's booking, it's now. Everybody's favorite Home Depot employee is out next, Samuel Zayn. He's out there still copying Jonathan Cena and issuing a U.S. title open challenge. Bouncy Javon Evans is how it was described by Michael Cole last night. No joke. Bouncy Evans. Is Mike still on? I'm blowing the mic out, man. I guess we were pretty amplified throughout this one so far. But they announced this dude as Bouncy Evans. Bouncy Javon Evans of NXT. He answers the challenge. Zayn pins Evans, but not via a haluva kick, but rather the Blue Thunder Bomb. He kind of reversed the combo, where he used to get the Blue Thunder Bomb and then the haluva. The past couple weeks, he's been doing the haluva and then the Blue Thunder. So I thought that was interesting to note. And then, of course, post-match, you just have mutual respect. So the new way they're going is that we're just going to send all these really talented, pro wrestlers out there, right? We'll throw out Ray Phoenix. We'll throw out Bouncy Evans. And anybody that's got, can put on really wrestling matches, right? Make the crowd go, this is awesome! Right? Collect those this is awesome coins. And Sami Zayn's going to go out there and have all of these supposed bangers. And maybe Meltzer will give it 3, 4, 29 stars. Right? That's the hope. And we're all going to look at Sami and go, wow, what an amazing pro wrestler. Every single week, Sami is just he's a banger machine. And then what? We're supposed to want him to win the world title at WrestleMania. Or now it's in Saudi in 43? So I think they wanted Sami to win it at 42. What are we up to now? 42 is next? So at 43, they might wait another year. That'd be best. Because that'll give them another year to change their minds and think more smart. No, Sami Zayn should not be winning a world title. Bad enough we just had to do a couple months of Jason Yeaterman. We did not go from Hulk Hogan to the Savages to the Warriors to the Undertakers and the Steve Austins and the Rocks to even Cena and even Roman to Sam Zayn. Where do we draw the line? Who's next? Tozawa? Bouncy Evans is going to win it next year? Oh, that'll be amazing. You know why? Because after Bouncy Evans wins, and I like Javon Evans, by the way. I mean, man, he really has to just get some protein, hit the gym a little more, and he's got to gain some weight. But I mean, just too tiny, right? Too skinny, man. Every time he jumps high, I think, oh my, one of his legs is just gonna snap, or both, like toothpicks. But I mean, Javon Evans is still in NXT. Okay, let's not start throwing world. Javon Evans could win the world title next week, and the crowd will probably chant, "You deserve it." They just did it to Stephanie V on Monday night. Stephanie Vaquer just gets a "You deserve it" chant. She's been on the main roster a couple of months. She was NXT for a cup of coffee. Well, basically, she wrestled other places, so they're just really just they're giving her a "you deserve it" for her entire career thus far. Oh, they do it for everybody. I remember Nia Jax got another title as a heel, mind you. This was in the past couple of years, actually. Not even that long ago. A heel, another title, and they were chanting "you deserve it" for Nia Jax. Every time Gunther would win a title, he hadn't even been on the main roster that long. "You deserve it." All the heels. Braun Breaker got it when he got the IC title, and he was there for a cup of coffee. I made a joke, but it's not so much a joke the past couple of uploads. Maxine could win the title. Maxine! And today's crowds would chant "you deserve it." She works hard, basically. Maxine she's getting better. So yes, I think throw the title on Maxine. Let's see if she can get the rocket, basically. Let's see if she got sink or swim, basically. How about we don't? How about we don't put the title on Maxine? Yeah, that'd be nice. How about we don't put the world title on Sami Zayn? If he wants to hold around the mid-card title, that's fine. Keep having your silly little open challenges. Put on your bangers so we can sit through 25 minutes of This Is Awesome chants and watch you guys bounce around the ring like a bunch of ping pong balls. Bouncy Evans and Home Depot Zayn. Sammy Home Depot Zayn. Samuel to aisle 9 for our cleanup. Paint cleanup. Samuel, aisle 9. And then we go into... Oh, did I even mention mutual respect at the end of this match? You have to have mutual respect. We called it the mutual respect era for a long time. Mutual respect, because you just have faces taking on faces, or even faces and heels doing the same thing, shaking hands afterwards. They shake hands these days afterward. Nice athletic contest, Jackson. You too, Johnson. It's Johnston with a T. Johnston. Yes, that's what I meant. Johnston, good match. You too, Jackson. Back in school, remember you used to play football. If anybody ever played football or any sport, maybe most sports do it. After the game, you'd all have to get in a single file line and go down the line of the other team and go, good game, good game, good game, good game, good game, good game. Not PC. Oh man, as I walk by them all, I do just shake hand, absolutely. But I'd be like, loser, 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 loser. They'd all be taken back, right? They'd be like, what the hell did he just say? That's right, you lost! No participation trophy. You didn't have a good game, because you lost! The main event, Tiffy time versus Jade and Nia. Incredible. Nia Jax, referee Asia Smith, double botch. Created because of the botch master of all botches, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And that ruined this match. It ruined it. They were physical. Jade Cargill was busted open. I believe it was her left. Maybe right. Above her eye, just sliced up. It looked like stitches were needed. Maybe it wasn't that severe. She didn't factor into the finish, which is probably best for her. She stayed away from that atrocity. And Stratton pins Jax. She came in with like a little missile drop kick. Pins Jax 1, 2, 3. The only problem is the referee just didn't count. Referee Asia Smith runs over, counts 1, counts 2, holds her count. Nia Jax never moved, never even blinked. Never blinked. And then Asia, after the botch, looks at the timekeeper, goes, 2! And then it hit her like a ton of bricks. Shit, how do I get out of this? That was a 3. That was a 10. Nia Jax was out like she got tranquilized. She was done. In the second, Asia Smith turns back around from going 2 to the timekeeper. Nia Jax is talking to her. Oh, shoot, was I supposed to... Wait, oh, no, the prettiest moonsault. Shoot. No. And Asia's just like, fuck, Nia, we are so screwed. And then Nia throws her arm up, kicks out. It was 10 seconds later. What are you kicking out from? Nobody's counting at that point. It was so bad. But that was her first instinct. You could tell Nia knew she had completely screwed up. Put the referee in the most horrible positions. And so her first instinct was just, I'm throwing my arm up. But Tiffany wasn't even on her at that point. The ref wasn't even counting. The moment was gone. And then moments later, she's re-knocked out somehow. I forgot even how. Didn't put it in my notes. She's re-knocked out literally moments later and collects some prettiest moonsault ever from Tiffany. And then the referee decides to, I'm gonna put my hand down for the 3rd time this time. I'm gonna count to 3 this time. I would have last time, but I forgot how to count. I was close. I was like 1, 2. Fuck, what's the next one? Is it 5? Oh, why me? But moments later, oh no, she knew 3 came after 2 and before 4. I said everything that I could possibly convey to you in the opening monologue. I know that you guys want to go smash out your weekend, so I'm not going to keep you here another second later. I'm not going to keep going on it. That's it. It is an unacceptable botch that can never happen. I say this all the time, never to this amplified measure, because I've had enough. These are not just like random little matchups, man, where you have John Gargano taking on one of the Viking Experience. This isn't Xavier Woods taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. No title, no reasoning, no storyline, just a match. It would still be bad, you still can't do it. These are pay-per-view matches like Damian Priest a couple of times. These are title matches with the ladies like Tiffany. And 100 other instances. But when it's to that magnitude, there's a problem. And it's happening too often. And Hunter Hearst Helmsley is the problem. So solve it. Even if you can't stand Vince McMahon, that's fine. But the rule has to come back that Vince implemented. The referee's hand has to connect to the mat for a 3 count. If the wrestler muffs up, misses their cue, and botches, because if not, it's a ripple effect. Then everybody botches. It looks horrible, and you have exposed the fundamentals of the business. The very foundation, the core of what the business was founded upon. If the referee is not gonna count. This has been your SmackDown 9/26/25 review. Until next time. Oh, and there will be that next time. My amplified unit. Salut! Check you!